I've always loved the quiet of the woods. Growing up, my family had a cabin deep in the forest, far away from the chaos of city life. It was my refuge, a place where I could escape and recharge. I'd spent countless weekends there, but one trip last fall changed everything. I arrived late one evening, the sun dipping below the horizon as I pulled into the gravel driveway. The air was crisp, a cool breeze rustling through the trees. The cabin was just as I remembered, a quaint two-story structure with weathered wood and a welcoming porch swing. I unloaded my bags, eager to settle in for a peaceful weekend. That first night, I lit a fire in the fireplace, its warmth flickering against the walls. As darkness enveloped the cabin, I sipped a glass of wine, letting the familiar creaks and groans of the old building lull me into a sense of comfort. I turned on my phone to check for messages but found no service. I shrugged it off, this was the woods, after all. Around midnight, I decided to turn in. As I made my way upstairs, I paused, feeling an unsettling chill in the air. Dismissing it as an overactive imagination, I climbed into bed, pulling the covers tightly around me. The wind howled outside, and I closed my eyes, hoping to drift off. But sleep didn't come. Instead, I lay awake, listening to the sounds of the night. Then, I heard it, a soft whisper, almost like someone calling my name. Jessica, it floated through the stillness, weaving its way into my consciousness. I shot upright, heart racing. My mind raced with possibilities. Could it be the wind? My imagination? Hello? I called out, my voice trembling. Silence enveloped me. I turned on the lamp beside my bed, its light pushing back the shadows. I felt foolish, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. I stepped out of bed and walked to the window, peering out into the darkened woods. The trees loomed like sentinels, and the moonlight cast eerie shadows on the ground. Nothing seemed out of place. Shaking off the chill, I returned to bed, but the whispers continued, soft and persistent. Jessica, help me, my blood ran cold. Who was calling me? With every passing hour, I tried to convince myself it was just the wind. I switched on my phone, hoping for service, but there was still nothing. I needed to sleep, so I covered my head with a pillow, desperate to block out the noise. The next morning, I awoke groggy and disoriented. Sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating the cabin and banishing the shadows of the night. I brushed off the whispers as a product of exhaustion and decided to explore the nearby trails to clear my mind. As I walked through the woods, the air was fresh, and the vibrant autumn leaves crunched underfoot. I snapped pictures of the scenery, hoping to capture the beauty of nature. But with each step deeper into the forest, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. After a couple of hours, I decided to take a break near a small clearing. I sat on a fallen log, savoring the tranquility. But then, I heard it again, the whispers. This time, they were clearer. Help me, Jessica. I looked around, anxiety clawing at my insides. Is someone there? I called out, half expecting a reply. Nothing. Just the rustling leaves and distant bird calls. I stood up, feeling a sense of dread creeping in. I needed to get back to the cabin. That evening, as darkness fell, I tried to shake off the fear. I cooked a simple dinner and settled in with a book, hoping to distract myself. But as the night deepened, the whispers returned, more insistent this time. Help me, please. This time, I felt a pull, an irresistible urge to find the source. I grabbed a flashlight, my heart pounding as I opened the door and stepped into the cool night air. The beam of light cut through the darkness as I ventured toward the clearing. Hello? I called, trying to steady my voice. The whispers grew louder, echoing through the trees. Help me. The beam of my flashlight flickered as I stepped deeper into the woods, illuminating the twisted branches and underbrush. Then, I saw it, a faint glow in the distance. It beckoned me, almost like a lantern. My instincts screamed at me to turn back, but I pressed on, compelled by the whispers. As I approached the glow, I saw a figure, a young girl, no older than 10, standing by an old tree. She looked disheveled, her clothes tattered and her face pale. "Help me," she whispered again, her voice hauntingly fragile. "Where are you?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She pointed to the ground. "I can't leave." My heart raced. I knelt beside her, shining my flashlight to see better. Beneath the roots of the tree, I spotted something, dirt displaced, as if something had been buried there. In that moment, I understood. This was no ordinary encounter. The girl was a spirit, lost and pleading for help. The whispers were her call for rescue. I took a deep breath, knowing what I needed to do. I grabbed my phone and began recording, speaking directly to her. "I'll help you. I promise. What do you need?" The whispers calmed as I spoke, and the girl's expression softened. "Find me. Help me be free." I didn't know how, but I promised I would try. I returned to the cabin and spent hours researching. I discovered a local legend about a girl who had gone missing years ago near the area, a tragic tale that echoed through time. The next morning, I returned to the clearing, armed with a shovel and my determination. After an hour of digging, I found a small, weathered box buried beneath the roots. It was adorned with childish drawings, evidence of a lost life. Inside, I found a few trinkets, a locket, a faded photograph, and a small diary. As I held the items, the air grew still, and a warmth enveloped me. I whispered a prayer for the girl's soul, promising to return these things to her family. That night, I placed the items on the tree stump in the clearing and said goodbye. "You're free now," I murmured. "You can rest." With that, the whispers ceased. The oppressive weight lifted, and I felt a sense of peace wash over me. The next morning, I packed my things and left the cabin, feeling lighter than I had in days. Weeks later, I returned to the town and visited the local historical society. I found the girl's family and shared my story, returning the items to them. They were grateful, and I could see the relief in their eyes. Now, whenever I visit that cabin, I remember the whispers, not with fear, but with gratitude. The woods still hold secrets, but I know some stories can find their endings, even in the darkest places.